your damage versus the ability to heal. 2 seconds of your damage versus 4 seconds of their heal. It's, or basically more, basically like around 5 or 6 seconds of their heal. That was quite fantastic. If you wouldn't miss that, of course, you failed. But well, I think it's always good to have something like a failure state. And that clearly was a failure state. But again, the game has shifted so much, and people would probably complain if they can't interrupt like easily anymore. I just don't think Paladin, for example, had no interrupt. There were no interrupts for the Paladin, and that was okay because they were traded off with like high damage. DK had always been an interrupter. What else could interrupt actually? It was basically, it's a reason, there's a reason why basically, well, how do I say that? Why interrupting a boss is called kicking a boss. Because it's named after the rogue's ability kick, because back in the day, that was the only real considered kick option. The others were kind of combined with a trade-off, and for the energy, back in that time, wasn't a big trade-off. Oh, I think it was less actually. So that's why it's called kicking, because it's just labeled after that spell. And well, why don't we go back to that? It's something that defines your class. It's just basically if you choose a class, you could just put more emphasis on the strengths and weaknesses. Like for example, this class can do something really well, like you can hodge and or you could just have a bunch of stuns, shockwave, bolt. It's gonna get nerfed, but you get my point. Like you get a bunch of stuns, you get a lot of damage, blade storm. You get some other cool abilities that put you out of freedom, or that give you freedom and deal a bunch of damage. It's ridiculous how many tools the warrior has right now in the beta. But you also lose something, and you also lose like for example, the ability to kick. And in an environment where basically kicking is pretty devastational, that's a good trade-off. High damage versus a pretty good ability. But I guess people are just getting used to it. I certainly got used to it. I mean, fake casting is in my blood right now. Whether that's good or bad. Well, I don't know. Now I know what this quest was all about. Shit. Get the fuck away from me, Raging Ancient. I have to talk to him. Okay, well, I guess I'm gonna do that. Well, one other thing that I want to talk about, that I wanted to talk about, is the future of this Warlock. And basically his, well, Warlocks use or always have been fairly weak in 2v2s. That's just a fact. Warlocks were never good in 2v2s, except for Destro in like up to like 1700. After that, people know how to counter Destro, and it's basically back to useless again. They're not completely useless though. They're not completely useless. They can do some crazy stuff, but they're nothing compared to a Warlock. They're nothing compared to a Druid or a Boomkin. They just shine. The trade-off for that, the great thing about it, they just shine in 3v3, and even better, they do even better in 5v5. But yeah, it used to be pretty bad. And on this server, right now that I'm playing on, I don't really have that many mates. So it could be I just need mates. Check. Okay, now it's gonna deliver me. So I'm still going to level this guy up. I'm still going to do all that I promised to do. I'm still going to do all the quests. But once we hit level 90, expect to see less of it. I was planning to get him up to my main. I was planning to do all that stuff, but I can't find that many mates on the server, or I could probably do that. He's like green. What the fuck? I can still do that, and I'm still probably going to do that. The Warlock does make fun, and the playstyle still makes sense, but they got nerfed. They got nerfed. Or changed. Not nerfed, essentially, not necessarily nerfed, but they got changed. And a bit. Quite a bit. And, so, I guess we're gonna see how this plays out in live. It's still beta, and I have to say, playing the Warlock in 2v2s, and that's the only thing that you basically can queue up for now. I have never got an invite for 3v3s, and I was in the queue for like a half an hour, and I never got an invite where basically 2v2s was instant. I guess it's gonna change in life with more people playing. It just should be changing. Not everybody's gonna play 2v2s, but it could be a problem. And basically, one thing that I really predicted with like, or not predicted, what I would say right now in the beta, is that a Warlock really needs a healer. Because as I said with like over the past episodes, as I constantly talked about, the instant stuff got nerfed, and not only for damage dealers, it got nerfed for not only for healers, it got nerfed for damage dealers as well. And the Warlock is a big victim of it. You cannot apply as many dots as you would, or the dots as easily as you can right now. You basically takes right now. It's just this and soul swap. Soul swap just costs you nothing, which is ridiculous, but it costs you nothing. And basically, you just have to pay for one soul burn. So you got one of that. With Warlocks of Draenor, for that same thing would require 2 soul charges. Because not only does your soul burn cost 1 soul charge crystal or whatever, what are they called? Soul charge shard. Not only costs that 1, does that cost 1, your soul swap also costs 1. So in order to get dots even only applied instantaneously, you have to invest 1 charge. 2 charges. That's only on 1 target though. So right now what you do is you pop Demon Soul and just freak out, and you dot the guy, and then you just swap your dots around. Easily with Soul Swap. It's no big deal, it just costs nothing. Basically, it just costs nothing. It doesn't even cost mana, as it turns out. You're just doing it. In Warlocks of Draenor, that costs 1 charge. So if you want to dot only two targets at once, you have to invest instantaneously. That is, if you apply the dots via regular casting, it's okay. And they nerfed the cast, or they buffed the casting time on unstable. I think it's around 1 second right now, with a glyph. And I think that's actually, do I have that glyph? No, so probably they haven't changed it at all. But it's a fairly quick cast, and the other ones are instant anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much. But again, you got kicked, and you definitely, they take longer to kill you, but you actually don't have that much self heal too. So without a healer, you die. And you do your dots, and the dots don't do as much damage as they do now. As I said, for about an hour now, everything got nerfed. So people can just heal against it, like in Boomkin can probably heal against it right now, without that much trouble. Although probably not without any trouble at all. It's still dotting like 2 targets still does do some damage. And you still top the damage meters. That is, you're still doing a lot of damage, but it's spread out damage. It's not bursty. So you die before you really get to steam. That's always been a problem with the Warlock, with Affliction especially. You just weren't bursting. You would just dot everything, and it would kind of do your thing, and everything was dying to a point, but everything was. You would just apply a bunch of pressure, basically. You was just there to apply an awful lot of pressure, and you weren't really the bursty guy. Although you could still burst some way. And yeah, so you basically have to have a healer, and that's what it turns out to. You just have to survive for a moment so you can get everything rolling. Or basically don't be crippled while you do it. That's one thing. You could still get it rolling, or you could still survive for a bunch of time, but you would just basically rub yourself against the well, you were just running around stuffed pillars, and just you weren't really doing that much that does damage. It's as simple as that. You're basically just defending, and well, it's not really good if you want to kill someone. So basically it's your mate alone with you tanking. What it turns out, what it comes down to. So if you have a healer, that's not that much of an issue, because healers are kind of powerful and they're gonna keep you up a bunch of times, and you can get everything rolling. And on 3v3 you can do it on 3 targets, which also boosts your damage quite a bit, and well, it's a good thing overall. In 2v2, but the problem is, as I said earlier, no one is queuing for 3v3s, except for some premates, but no one in the in like the skirmish stuff, which I did a bunch of times. Hellfire path and Hellfire. Oh yeah. Which I'm basically judging on my experience right now on is the skirmish mode. No one in that 2v2 is playing a healer. Basically no one. I never had a healer team with me. Regardless of what I played. Of course you wouldn't get up to like double healers, but usually almost everybody plays a damage healer right now. That's always been that way, basically. Why am I back in this freaking area again? So you kind of run into problems with the slowdown. It's what it basically comes down to. And that's significantly decreases my willingness to play this class on level 90, because again, I don't really have that many mates on the server, and I have to basically build up a lot of people, and I don't know if it's any good. I don't know. As right now, I have connections to like pretty good players, which I just don't have on the server. As simple as that. So the only thing would be changing a fraction, which is ridiculous because I already have a level 90 Warlock. So I guess we're gonna level up, and then after we leveled up, we're gonna switch to the other Warlock. That's also a possibility. I could imagine that being the case. But in order to do that, I have to practice a little bit more. But we're gonna see. Why am I actually getting out of the exit right now? This is ridiculous. This is stupid. And I don't know where the forest heart corrupted thing is. Where's the freaking forest heart? Is it up there? You look special, at least. Is there like a forest heart behind you? We'll see. How long do I record right now? Oh. Okay. So I got 3 episodes right now. Is there like a heart here? He doesn't say anything about the heart. This is the heart. Oh god, I found it. Okay, let's corrupt it. And after that I think I'm gonna end the episode because still got stuff to do. And quite frankly I wanna practice the Warlock a bit right now. Yeah, corrupted it. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna log out right here. I know it's ridiculous, but my red eyes are just doing it. So thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow.